Madridistas, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Madrid. Okay, let me give you guys my thoughts on the match against Sevilla. This, turned out to be kind of a bizarre and I think slightly boring match. Neither of the teams had anything to play for. Sevilla is coming off a really, really bad year as well. They were just playing for pride. This ended up being 11v9, which I think is not football. I mean, it's ridiculous. It kind of turns into a training session, so it really lost a lot of steam. But I'll give you guys my thoughts on the match. Like I say, kind of bizarre, and then we'll tell a couple of observations about players. And then I'll get you guys up to speed on the latest gossip in terms of transfers and lots of news in that regard. But thanks for joining me as always. Let's get started. Welcome back. Let me give you my thoughts on this match first, which was kind of, I don't know, I found it a little bit bizarre. I mean, you had balloons and water breaks. And then 2 red cards. The whole thing was, I found it was a very strange match. But I'll give you my thoughts. Okay, first of all, the lineup. Carlo decided to come out with Lunin in goal, Fede as right back. In the center of defense, he had Jacobo and Vallejo, and Fran on the left. This was a 4-4-2 where we had Modric and Tchouaméni in front of the defense. And then we had Jude off to the left, Arda to the right, and then Enrique and Kylian up front. Now, this was kind of a 4-4-2 with Jude and Arda on the wings, but each of them kind of drifted to the middle a lot, which is a good thing because I think both of those players are much more effective when they drift to the middle. So that was the formation. Now, in terms of the match itself, I thought it had a very slow start. It was a little bit frustrating. It was kind of back and forth, but neither team really able to create very, very clear chances. Sevilla was kind of trying to press high. It didn't work too effectively. But neither team was really creating clear chances. There were some shots from distance, but again, not very threatening. And then in the 11th minute, we had this red card. And this was a deep pass to Kylian, who, of course, with his speed, was able to get past his defender, get behind the defender, and it was called a red card. Now, I have to be honest with you guys. I'm not sure I would have. This was not a red to me. I think I would have given a yellow. It wasn't entirely obvious that it was a clear goal-scoring opportunity. The defender was the last defender, but by a very, very small margin. There were 2 other defenders on that line. And it wasn't, and it was kind of far away from goal. I don't know. It didn't seem that evident to me that this would have been red. And the reason that this kind of pisses me off is that we've spent the entire season watching Vini get hacked, watching Mbappe tackled criminally. I mean, we've seen tackles that could have broken their legs, and the VAR booth never saw anything. The refs never see anything. And now that the Liga title is over, 2 red cards in favor of Real Madrid. I can assure you, and I would bet every earthly possession that I have, that if the Liga were still in play, neither of those red cards would have been given. I guarantee you this 100%. So the red card, I don't know, it kind of, pissed me off for that reason. Now, after that, of course, we had a man advantage, a little bit more space, but we weren't really able to utilize it very well. It was a bit frustrating. You had Kylian trying to make incursions on the left, but it always ended up with him losing the ball. Enrique trying to make incursions on the right, but always making the wrong decision. He's a player that I think instinctively always wants to finish plays, but I think a player that needs to learn to lift his head and be more aware of passing opportunities. I think this is something that he's going to have to learn with time. Okay, in the 25th minute, this is why I'm saying this was a weird match. I mean, you had balloons flying around, and then in the 25th minute, we had a water break. Now, it wasn't hot in Sevilla. It was a very nice day and breezy. I don't understand why they had a drink break in the 25th minute, but, there you go. But again, like I say, one of the frustrations in the first half, and I think kind of permeated the whole match, is the decision-making in the final third was very, very poor. I felt very just bad communication and coordination between Enrique and Kylian and between the midfielders and the forwards. It felt like the coordination, the communication really wasn't there. It was a little bit frustrating. Now, Kylian did have a couple of good opportunities in the first half. In the 42nd minute, a shot that just went wide. Very good scoring opportunity there. In the 47th minute, Jacobo made a kind of critical mistake and left the Sevilla forward in a one-on-one situation against Lunin. And he did the hardest thing, which was to miss, because he had plenty of time. He could have gone around the goalkeeper. He had plenty of time to consider that shot, but thankfully missed that shot wide. Now, in the second half, very strange second half. Not too far into the second half, we have the red card. Now, this one, in my mind, was more of a red card than the first one. This was a foul on Tchouaméni that was really kind of hard to watch because, these are the type of tackles that can really injure players. But at that point, it's 11v9, and it's just, that's just not football. So the dynamic of the match completely changed, where Real Madrid knows, knowing that it has plenty of space and time, but not really a sense of urgency. I thought that we weren't particularly good at exploiting the two extra men. I think we were good at spreading the pitch wide, but the ball circulation was far too slow in that second half. I think also I have to give credit to Sevilla because, considering they were playing with two fewer players, I thought they did a very, very good job. And I have to give them credit because they defended very well as a block. And then when they would steal the ball and try to go forward, they did do it in a synchronized, coordinated way. There were even spells where they held the ball for long periods at a time, which I thought was very impressive. So I think that we really should have done more with those two extra men. We should have been in much more command of that match. But anyway, that's how it turned out. Okay, we had, as play went on, we had our first change in the 57th minute. Enrique came off. It looked like he had an injury, I think his thigh. He felt something. He came off and Victor Munoz came in. Like I say, we weren't really utilizing the two extra men. It didn't appear like a match where we were up by two men. It didn't feel that way at all, which was unfortunate. In the 59th minute, Fede had a good chance with a shot with his great right foot. In the 65th, we had more changes. Vallejo came off for Gonzalo. And at that point, Tchouaméni came back to the center back position. In the 67th minute, we had another water break. Again, just kind of inexplicable. This is when the pitch gets invaded by balloons, so they took another water break. Very bizarre. In the 70th minute, Kylian hit the crossbar. That was probably the clearest chance of the match up to that point. And then 4 minutes later, Kylian finally scores. You could tell that Kylian, the entire match, was just so eager to score. One of the really only interesting narratives of this match was because Kylian is in contention for the Golden Boot and the Pichichi, he was just absolutely desperate to score, and being up two men, it was just a fantastic opportunity. This was a good goal by Kylian, very good shot from distance, kept the ball low, very accurate near the post, a very good strike. In the 76th minute, we had more changes. Fran and Arda came off, and you had Lucas Vázquez and Ceballos come in. And then in the 86th minute, we finally had the second goal. This was a really, really good cross by Victor Munoz. It was a wonderful cross, a very good header by Jacobo, and then, of course, Jude at the right place in the right time at the right time to make it 2-0. So, again, the match was, I thought, a little boring, a little bit bizarre, but there you have it. I think, Kylian was just desperate to score, but it was, anyway, ended 2-0. Now, I'll just make a few player observations. We don't have to go through every single one, but just a couple of things I want to mention. Okay, Vallejo, I have to say it was really cool to see Vallejo, who I cannot remember the last time he actually started a match for Real Madrid. And I think that considering that was the case, I think he did pretty well. Don't forget, it's very hard to come on the pitch as a starter when you haven't played at all for God knows how long. But it was very good to see, and I thought he did pretty well, all things considered. Jacobo is improving, but the one thing I would say is that his timing in some of the challenges is a little off. I think he went into 50-50 challenges and his timing wasn't always great. So I think he is improving, certainly better than the two times he came on, the first two times this year. But he is improving. But I don't know. So his timing and challenges, I think, can improve a little bit. Fede, I just want to mention Fede because it's funny because you can just tell the guy hates playing right back. You can tell the guy just hates it because any chance he gets, he will either go forward as much as he can or he'll drift to the middle because he loves to be in the middle of the pitch. But it was just kind of funny to see because you can just tell the man hates that position. I think Modric, Tchouaméni, and Arda Güler had a good match. Nothing spectacular, but I think they had a solid match, those three. Jude, I thought, was very imprecise. I thought Jude didn't really have his day. He scored, obviously, the goal in the last minute, but in the 86th minute, but he was just a little bit imprecise. I didn't see him connecting very well with the forwards. His timing was a little bit off. I don't know. I thought Jude was just a little bit, a tad sloppy. Kylian, hungry as hell, very quick, very hungry. You could tell he wanted every single ball, and he just wanted to attack the goal every time he got the ball. But Kylian looks very fresh and very good to me. I think he's had a very good season. And then Enrique, what I just said, I think this kid needs to learn to make better decisions in that final third. And he's a young player. He's playing in Europe, for the first time, so he will improve. He's a player I really like and trust, but these are things that he's going to have to improve going forward. Okay, let's talk about the transfer stuff. And okay, the Huijsen thing, I mentioned that in my last video that this was a done deal. So it was finally formally announced. And I actually did take the time to do a lot of research on this kid, and I watched a lot of footage, and I heard a lot of commentary out of the EPL. Even his time in Italy. This is a really good player. I have to say, I didn't know that much about him. I had seen him play a few times, but I did spend a lot of time watching footage. This is a very, very good player. I'm not kidding. This guy, so he's very tall, so obviously very good in the air, but he's very quick, okay? He's very, very quick. His timing and tackles is excellent. In fact, he had, in 50-50 challenges, one of the best statistics of any defender in the entire EPL. He times his challenges very well and wins the vast majority of them. He is wonderful in long distribution with both feet. Now, this is something you don't get from a lot of center backs. His long distributions are excellent with both feet. So this is a player that when he recovers the ball, he can carry it very, very well, which is a wonderful luxury to have. But he's also a player that can lift his head and make fantastic long passes. And whenever you have center backs recovering balls and then quickly making long passes to the forwards, you have a very good chance of surprising the opposition. So these are very, very good attributes. He's also very comfortable and elegant technically with the ball at his feet. He doesn't panic. He's very calm. He's very confident with the ball at his feet. I mean, this is a player that has very, very good characteristics. I'm actually really excited. This player, I think, looks a lot better than I thought initially, to be honest. So the Huijsen thing is done, and I'm really excited about it. Okay, the Trent Alexander-Arnold, there's a little bit of a problem here. And, okay, he's coming 100%, but, we want him to come in early June because we want him to come to the Club World Cup with us. But he has a contract with Liverpool until June 30th. Now, Real Madrid was trying to negotiate with Liverpool to see if he could come early. And the word on the street was that Real Madrid was going to pay $2 million to Liverpool to have him come a little bit sooner. But there's apparently been a hitch in those negotiations. And I don't know if it's a matter of what the price is to get him to come earlier, or if it's just a matter of sort of Liverpool pride and not wanting to bend to our demands. So I don't know, but apparently we might run into a problem getting Trent to come in time for the Club World Cup. That's what I'm hearing now. If there's any change, we'll have to keep our eye on that. Okay, Rodrigo, I have to tell you guys that the rumors in terms of Rodrigo leaving are heating up. And you guys have to be aware of this. And I'm hearing it from more places. It sounds a little more convincing. We're not getting categorical denials from his entourage, which is very suspicious. I think, understanding how Florentino's mind works, I don't think that he would be averse to doing it. We would certainly collect a ton of money because he's a very coveted player who's proven himself on the biggest stages. So I think, Rodrigo could leave. That's still very much a possibility. Okay, the Carreras thing, I told you guys in my previous video that the Huijsen thing would happen before Carreras. The Carreras thing is still being negotiated, but I'm very confident that it will happen. And I'm also confident that he will come in time for the Club World Cup. So that I think is just a matter of days. So be patient with that one. Now, beyond that, there's just so much. The rumor mill is just insane, okay? Because the word is that Xabi Alonso might go for yet another center back and another midfielder. And then in terms of the midfielders, I mean, the number of names that are being thrown out there is just ridiculous. Schiller is being mentioned. Mantuano, the player from River Plate, the young player who apparently is phenomenal. His name is being sort of mentioned. Wirtz, of course, people still talk about. Even Enzo Fernandez, which is amazing at Chelsea. Chelsea paid a fortune for him, but even his name is kind of being considered as a potential midfielder to be added. So I honestly don't know what's going to happen there. I think that if we sell Rodrigo, we might go for an additional midfielder, possibly. If Rodrigo doesn't leave, I doubt very much that will happen. I think we'll end up with just the 3 defenders and stop there. If we do sell Rodrigo, then I do think we might go forward and push for another midfielder. But again, there's so many names being thrown around, it's kind of hard to keep track. But that's kind of where we are in terms of transfers. It's going to be really interesting to see. But ideally, we get all these guys in time for the Club World Cup, and hopefully Liverpool will bend or come to an agreement, because it would be great to have Trent join us for that tournament as well. But anyway, listen, that's all I got. Just wanted to share my thoughts on the match and the latest on transfers. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Thanks for joining me. As always, I'll see you in the next video. And as always, a la Madrid.